I think this is one of the best things I've ever baked.
Holy shit.
I'm not even kidding.
This is insane. It's not even my recipe, but I'm so proud of myself. This is so good. I don't know why I do this myself, but we are trying the hardest pumpkin pie recipe ever. I saw this pie on TikTok and people are rating it like the best pie of all pumpkin pies, when I really could just go to the market and buy a Costco pumpkin pie that's this big and just as delicious for probably $15. But this pie has 4 components and it costs an arm and a leg, let me tell you, especially for a New York City person who doesn't have access to like a normal grocery store. Here we are. We love homemade things for the holidays. But yeah, this was expensive, especially in New York, because this knockoff pumpkin pie puree, $5 a can. This $10 for these 2 bars of chocolate. So as I said, it has 4 parts. It has a streusel topping, it has a pumpkin pie, white chocolate ganache filling, it has a salted caramel filling, and it has the crust. So this one's gonna be a doozy, but we'll see how it goes. Might be terrible, but we're gonna get started because we got a lot to do. Ingredients are more or less these things in front of me in different proportion, different ratios. We have flour, we got sugar, water, butter, corn syrup, vanilla extract, heavy whipping cream, apple cider vinegar, cornmeal, salt, pumpkin puree, light brown sugar, rolled oats, not instant oats, rolled oats, white chocolate, allspice, ground ginger, ground nutmeg, ground cinnamon, and also ground cardamom, which I'm waiting for my Amazon delivery because in my store here in New York City, that was $11 for one thing here, and I was like, I'm not doing that in New York City. I'm not gonna do that. I just ordered it off Amazon. I'm actually hosting a Thanksgiving potluck, so this is 2 days beforehand for that, and you have to cook this at least 1 day before because it has to set in the fridge. But you can make most of it multiple days in advance and like kind of assemble it the day before, bake it off, put it in the fridge, and it's good to go. But this pie looks delicious, so I'm really excited to try it. Let's go. Let's do this. Salted caramel first. First, we're gonna make the caramel. This is gonna be the caramel. It's gonna go on top of the pie crust. So what we're gonna do is make a wet caramel as opposed to dry it. So that means we add water. So we got our sugar to 20 grams. Then I believe it's a 1/3 cup of water. Just gonna put that in there. And you can use either glucose or corn syrup. We have 2 tablespoons of corn syrup. Put that straight in there. Just following the website's directions. And then we're just gonna mix this up to make sure that sugar is all hydrated before we turn on the stove. When you make a wet caramel, it's less likely for the sugars to crystallize, I think. And then we're gonna turn on the heat to medium, and we're just gonna watch this. We can stir it a little bit, but then we're gonna leave it alone, let it bubble, let it simmer until it turns a nice dark amber color, that caramel color. You want to have your butter and heavy cream on standby in the fridge so that when this is done, we can immediately start incorporating that into the amber colored mixture. I also have my vanilla and my salt ready to go as well. And once your sugar dissolves and it's clear, you don't want to stir it anymore with the spatula because you could crystallize it. And if you want, you could get like a pastry brush with some water and kind of dab it on the side so the sugar usually crystallizes on the side. But from here, if you want to stir it up, you should just swirl around the pot like so. But we don't want to agitate it too much, so we're just gonna let it go here. It's gonna be like clear for a bit, and then right immediately it's gonna start turning amber, and from there you gotta be quick, cause that shit will burn real quick if you do not watch it. As you can see, it's just bubbling away. It's starting to turn already, so gonna get ready. As you can see on the side, it's starting to turn, so you really want to be careful here. Start swirling the pot and you'll see that come around the whole pan. Now it's going to really go super fast, so watch this like a hawk. You want a pretty deep amber color, but I don't like mine too bitter, so I don't take it as far as most people probably would. And it will continue once it's done to keep getting darker, so just be careful. Just a little bit longer. I'm gonna turn off the heat. Oh yeah, It's going. Be very, 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 very careful here. Take that off the heat. Now, you want to quickly whisk in your butter to help stop the cooking. Be careful here. Very, 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 very careful. It gets very, very steamy, so be careful. It's one at a time. Put in your butter. And look at that beautiful color. Let that entirely dissolve before you put in the next one. And you can feel it get a little thicker as you put that in there. But just continue. Oh, the color is perfect. I'm actually very, very happy with this. Last pat of butter. Then we want to get that heavy cream. Pour that straight in there. It does bubble up. Be careful. Oh yeah. Our last two ingredients, we got vanilla extract going in. And then this is a salted caramel. So we got 2 teaspoons of salt. This is Diamond Kosher. Do not use iodized salt. That's gonna be super salty and just not the right kind. Nice. And that is done. I'm making this a few days ahead, which is really great so that we can have this not be so stressful on the day of Thanksgiving. We're gonna transfer this to a heat-proof container so that it can cool. Make sure you just scrape all of that out. Caramel can be daunting at first, but it actually is pretty simple. It's just watching your sugar and making sure that you take it off at the right point. Do not be dumb like me. One time when I made caramel, I put my finger in there thinking, oh, it's cooled off. Burnt everything. Not good. So just be really careful with hot sugar. Hot sugar sticks onto the skin and it's very, 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 very dangerous. And I picked the wrong container for this, so I'm going to downsize. When you live in a small space, it's all about conserving your space efficiency. So we're just gonna transfer this. Oh, look, it's so silky. Wow. And even if you don't want to use this for pie, you can use this for whatever, really. Ice cream on top of cake. Anyways, so this is done. We're gonna label this, put this in the fridge, and we're good. Should have done this first, but we're going to bake off the pumpkin pie puree. Puree. What you want to do is get all the water out of these babies. So we got a really concentrated pumpkin flavor. They say in the recipe that you're going to bake this on parchment and spread it out. And then what we're going to do is bake it until it's about 500 grams or 2 cups. You want to make sure all that water is out. So I preheated the oven at 325. This should take around 20 to 30 minutes. Reading the recipe, I wouldn't say it's hard. I would just say it's pretty time consuming because you got to make so many different components. But if you plan it out right, you probably could do this without too much difficulty. And you can do a lot of it the day ahead. Love that. I get really paranoid with these sharp things, so just be really careful. I probably should have just took the whole thing off. Oh. I don't know if I've actually smelled pumpkin puree before, but baby, does not smell good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Looking real tasty. I wonder how pumpkin became a thing. Like, who was like, pumpkin is the Thanksgiving thing. We cut into this hard ass orange thing and puree it up. Just spread that out all over so that the water bakes out. If it's too much in a clump in the middle, it probably won't bake out as well because there's not as much surface area. Try to keep it on the parchment though. You don't want to mess, but I'm known for being a mess. So the shades are going to go really dark. We want this to be a really dark pumpkin amber color. I am saying that like I've seen it before, but I'm just reading directions, y'all. Oh shit. Ah, okay. Don't be me. Okay, I think that's good enough. Stick this in the oven and we'll just watch it for around 20-30 minutes and then kind of just check it by color. Always put a timer on because I forget a lot of shit and then I burn things. So timers, they're good for you. You also can pre-make the dough and pre-bake the dough. You can have this all ready. So we're going to make the dough. In this bowl, you're gonna put all your dry ingredients. So we got our flour, cornmeal, 1 heaping tablespoon of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Remember, you need salt in all your baked goods because that helps bring out all those flavors. I need a whisk. So whisk this together. I don't have my big whisk because I just used it on the caramel. Make sure to get all that nice and incorporated. Usually want to mix a little longer than you think. And you want everything else in here to be cold. Pie dough gets flaky when everything is left cold. So if ever you're working now until this pie dough is made, you want to put this bowl back into the fridge. Yeah. You want to get your butter. This is 12 tablespoons of butter that I cut up into little cubes. And you want to put that in here. You want to coat each piece with the flour mixture. This helps you spread it out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to spread this in between your hands. And you want to break up that butter into this mixture. And what that's going to do is create these butter pockets in here. And later we're gonna fold this crust and it's going to create like it's gonna like puff up, kind of like a croissant. As you're putting it through, you wanna make sure that mixes with the flour again. You want the pieces to be spread out, not too small, but also not too big. In the recipe, it says like a size of a blueberry should be your biggest ones. So just make sure those cubes are cubed up in there. And if it gets too cold, remember, you can put it back into the fridge. And you know if it's too cold, if it's like melting and it's not kind of like shredding through your hands like this. And it's okay if they're different sizes. That's just gonna help in the texture a little bit. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. It'll be okay. It will be okay. Now what we're going to do is get our ice cold water. It's about a 4th cup of ice cold water. And then we're gonna put that apple cider vinegar in there. I'm a little weary about this. I've never done that before. And I don't love apple cider vinegar, but gotta follow the recipe. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Mix it up a bit. You're not gonna wanna put all this water in there, but you just want the dough hydrated enough to come together in a ball. It's still gonna be a little dry in some bits. You don't want it to be fully saturated because it's going to hydrate when we put this in the fridge afterwards. So I'm gonna add in a few tablespoons at first, maybe like 4, and see where that brings us. So just work it together. Don't work it too hard, but we just want this to come together in a ball. I'm gonna need more than that. Oh, that apple cider vinegar is a lot. And I just kind of bring it around, fold it back down on it to itself until it kind of comes together more. A tablespoon at a time. And you see how it's coming together, but it's not staying together. We need more water. You see that brought it together. See that? It's a little craggly still, but it's come together in a ball. I think that's good on the water. That was 6 or 7 tablespoons of water. Our pumpkin puree. Ooh, look at that. You can see the shades of this have got a lot darker and it is steaming off that water. It's gonna let this cool. Back to the dough, we're going to get some plastic wrap. I'm just gonna put that dough in there, get all those bits here. Actually, we're gonna roll this in a square later, so I'm gonna make this a little square. And then I'm going to flatten this out into the best of a square that I can get. I'll put this into the fridge and let it rest and hydrate for about 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. Our dough has chilled. We're going to roll this out. First, I'm gonna flour my surface a little bit, get that nice and floured. And then we're gonna flour the top of this dough baby and our rolling pin. We wanna roll this out into a rectangle because we're gonna fold it like a book and create little laminations so that it creates layers of butter and flour and it puffs up when we bake it. It's gonna be kind of craggy, that's okay. But what I like to do is just go from the center, push that out. And wherever it like breaks a little, you can like bring it back together, but it's gonna be okay. And from here, we're just gonna roll this bad boy out. You see it like catching on the butter, just re-flour your surface a little bit. I'm doing a little patchwork. So from here, we're going to fold it inwards like a book. Create those laminations. Yes. Then we're gonna do a 180 turn, 90-degree turn, reflour everything, and then we're gonna do it one more time. Trust the process. I'm even questioning myself right now with how craggly this dough is, but just trust the process. Trust the process. Like I said, I've never made this before, so I'm experimenting with y'all, but it's not looking too bad. I'm gonna put that into a book one more time. Nice. You can probably roll this out and fill your pie tray now, but I'm going to put it back in the fridge for a bit to let it just, you know, firm up a little more. I've been working it for a bit. We want that butter to stay cold. Back in the fridge. All right, it's been about 20-30 minutes. We got our pie dough. It's nice and cold. Flour this boy up again. Flour your pan, flour everything. And now we want to make this into a circle the size of your pie plate. I have 2 pie plates here. What do I want to use? We want this to be a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. We want this to be a little bit bigger than your pie plate. I always have trouble kind of rolling it into a circle. Curve that around. Not even close. Actually rolling out pretty easily, so excited about that. Not too difficult. Try to make sure you're rolling it out even. I think I also struggle with that. Not a pro pie maker. I'm not getting that circular shape though. Getting a little thin over there. Uh-oh. You did not see me do this. That baby up. I do not waste dough because it's so non-circular. I think we're there. Now I'm just gonna roll this on my pie, on my rolling pin, and gently place it over my pie dish. Be very, 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 very careful. Cool. Gently press this into our dish here. Make sure you get into that seam here where the plate kind of makes that L shape. Now, what we're gonna do is just patch up some areas where I think could use some extra dough. Probably a bad idea, but it's okay. Now I'm gonna cut around just so that we're like even around the borders. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to fold up your corners so that they are sitting on the pie dish. Just folding the dough under itself and kind of placing it onto the baking sheet, creating a sealed edge. You want to crimp your edge however you feel like. I'm going to make little pleats, so I'm just getting 2 fingers like this and pushing the other one in to make these pleats. Doesn't have to be perfect. We like a little rustic look. I like to make them really sharp here because they kind of lose some shape when they bake. Cool. That was the last one. Make sure it's kind of secured onto the pie dish. Doesn't look too bad. We're gonna bake this in a 350-degree oven, and then we're gonna put some pie weights on it, or we're gonna put this other pie dish on there so that it blind bakes and doesn't raise up. There's many ways to do this. You can get foil, parchment, you can get a pie dish and oil the bottom, or you can just put in pie weights. But what we're gonna do is put foil in there. And this also kind of will help protect the edges so that they don't burn. You could put rice in here, you could put beans, you can put sugar. I'm gonna put this pie dish right inside there. I don't know if this is the best idea. Should I use rice? We'll try it. Hopefully it keeps its shape. I'm gonna toss this into the oven at 350 degrees for I think 30 minutes. And then we're gonna take it out and finish cooking. Cool. You can also put that on a baking dish, but I'm not using pie weight, so I'm not afraid it's gonna like fall over or anything like that. So I took the pie crust out and I lost all formations of my crimps because I put the pie dish on it. So don't do that. If you wanna keep the shape, use like pie weights. But now I'm just poking some holes in the bottom so that it doesn't puff up as it continues to bake. So we're gonna put this back in for 20 minutes uncovered. We took our pie plate out. This took about 20 extra minutes uncovered. You can see it's nicely golden brown. I lost some of the definition here where I crushed it too much, but here you can see some of the definition still there. But let this cool for an hour and then you can assemble your pie. But since I'm doing this on Saturday, I'm going to just let this cool and then put it in the fridge. It's actually the next day. I forgot you have to make this pie a day in advance. So we are going to fill the pie with the ingredients and then it's gonna set overnight. It has to set for at least 8 hours. So here we are with our pie dough. And we have our caramel that we had made yesterday in the fridge. You see now if I put it over, you can't really do that. So we're gonna microwave this in 20-second increments. I think it's good. So if you wanna make this ahead, this is good to follow. We're going to see how this works. So 20 seconds in the microwave at a time. The caramel smells good. The pie smells good and it's still crunchy. Hopefully it stays crispy for another day. It's getting better. It needs to be a little more pourable than this. You don't want to blast it too much at once because then it gets really bubbly and could overheat. You want to slowly, gradually bring that back up and stir it as you go. There's even heating because you know the microwave's only hitting the waves from the top and around it. You see it's already bubbling. Oh, there it is. So that's the pourable consistency. That was about 20 seconds stirred and then 10 seconds. So we don't want this to be too hot. Quickly pour that in here. Just get it around so we don't have to do too much fussing with it. Oh man, that looks delicious. I want it kind of up the sides. We're gonna put this in the fridge and let that set for around 20 to 30 minutes and we're gonna make the ganache. Next, we're gonna make the pumpkin filling with that roasted pumpkin we had yesterday. So what we're gonna do, I just put my chocolate into a large bowl. It needs to be a big bowl because you're gonna put all the ingredients in here. We're gonna mix it up. I have like kind of supplemented some cheap white chocolate with some expensive white chocolate. So hopefully, you know, we get some of those good white chocolate notes. So just have those in pieces. We're gonna warm up this milk mixture and then we're gonna put it in here to make the ganache. So just put that in a bowl and set that aside. Grab a saucepan. You're gonna add your heavy cream in there. You're gonna add your butter. And the recipe either calls for glucose or corn syrup. I don't have glucose, so I'm gonna use corn syrup. Put all that in there. Sticky, this stuff's really sticky. We're gonna bring this to a boil on the stovetop. Y'all don't need to see that. I'm just gonna put it on medium heat to boil. Watch it because you don't want to scald it. And then we're just gonna heat this up a little bit in 20-second increments, just like we did with the caramel. I think that's good as long as it's kind of hot. Goddamn. As long as it's kind of viscous, I think we'll be good there. We're just gonna measure out our spices that we're gonna toss in there real quick. So we're gonna toss in 1 teaspoon of cardamom. This was hard to get, dude, and it's so expensive, but better be worth it. Cardamom. Hopefully y'all have an easier time getting it than I. 1 teaspoon of that. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Make sure you're using teaspoon, not tablespoon, y'all. We're gonna do half a teaspoon of salt. This is a 1/4, so I gotta do 2. And a half teaspoon of allspice. I recommend to cap your lids as you go because there have been times where I've just clumsy ass me knocked that shit over. And then half a teaspoon of ground ginger. And oh, our milk is boiling. What you're gonna do now is pour this hot milk mixture over the ganache. You want to make sure all of that is covered. Ganache is actually really, really simple. You're gonna let this sit for like a minute or 2 and it's gonna melt that chocolate and then you can easily stir it into a homogeneous mixture. And that's how you make ganache. You can do this with chocolate, white chocolate. You don't normally need the glucose. This recipe calls for an immersion blender. I just bought one, so I can use it. It has this thing at the bottom. It kind of makes everything really smooth. So this should be melting. So now we can stir that about. And apparently this doesn't make it taste like white chocolate, but we'll see because this is a lot of white chocolate. Just mix that around till it's smooth. I love white chocolate. I love those cookies and cream like Hershey's as a kid. Oh my God, that was my shit. If it doesn't melt all the way, I think it's okay, but you can just zap this for maybe like 20 seconds at a time. So now I'm going to put in my spices. Oh, whoa. Why does that look like so much spices? Definitely that Thanksgiving brown color. Love that. And then we're gonna put the pumpkin in. Now we just blend this up. Stick that in there. Let it do its thing. You can see it's turning that nice pumpkin pie orange. Actually smells really, really good. Might be onto something, Milk Bar. I think we're good there. Pretty good. So we're gonna let this cool down just a little bit and then we're gonna put it into the pie. I accidentally left a pinch of clove out, so I'm just gonna add that in real quick. Clove. I'm gonna make the streusel also today as well. I wanted it to be crispy and crunchy the day of, but I just don't want to be stressed tomorrow. But they said you can make this up to a week in advance, so it should be fine. I know myself, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want a double batch of this stuff just because I like crunchy things. So I just made a double batch here, so it might look like more if you make like how the recipe says it. I just doubled everything, literally just ×2. You just gotta dump everything into this bowl. So we got flour, all-purpose flour, brown sugar, light brown sugar. Mine's a little clumpy, so kind of hard, so hopefully this works out. Got our rolled oats and our room temperature butter. Add our cardamom, also cinnamon. Doop. And always salt, because you need salt to bring out the flavors of other ingredients. I'm gonna mix this up with our hands. You just want it to be a homogeneous mixture. Just kind of run it through your fingers like this, and you want your butter at least kind of room temperature so that you don't have to like really force it. It's a little messy, but that's all right. I have my oven preheating to 325. We're just trying to hydrate everything, get it into like where there's no leftover like flour pieces or sugar pieces. This should be quite okay here. Looking for this type of consistency. Get a baking sheet and some parchment, and we're just gonna put this on the baking sheet. Oh shit. Ah! In little clumps, like so. Cool, we're gonna bake this off for 10 to 15 minutes. We're gonna check it every once in a while and kind of squidgy it around. We have our set pie with the caramel filling that I just took out of the fridge. You can see it's mostly set, so I'm just gonna coerce some of this to the sides, just a little bit. So we have that going up all the way. We're also making a little bit more room for the inside. I'm going to pour this mixture straight in. Oh yeah, like I have too much mixture. Stop right there for a sec. Wow, there's actually a lot left. This could be a disaster if I overdo it. Let that settle in there. It says it's supposed to be a deep dish pie. Maybe my pie plate is not deep dish enough. Yeah, I think I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it to the limit. All right, we're gonna leave it at this and let this set. So it's pretty liquid right now, so we're gonna set this in the fridge. Please set. I overfilled it. Don't overfill your pies, y'all. Oops. Damn. Oh well. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna be bubbling like this. You just wanna mash it apart until it gets golden brown every few minutes. Cool, we took this out, let this cool, and we're going to put it in an airtight container. We're done for today. Everything's going to be chilling and cooling, and then on Saturday we're just gonna assemble, take that pie out, make some whipped cream, and then put that on top, put the streusel on top, and we're gonna serve it. It's actually not that bad. It's just that I'm filming it and doing it by myself, so it's a little difficult, but I think if you're doing it alone, it's not the worst. We don't have a lot of time. The potluck is in a few hours, and I had a really busy day, so we gotta finish off this pie. We're gonna make a whipped cream topping, and then we already made the streusel, so we're just gonna make the whipped cream here. You can do this in a mixer or whatever, but it's only a little bit of cream, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. I will probably regret this. Do a cup of heavy whipping cream. Add in 2 tablespoons of sugar. There's controversy over regular sugar or powdered sugar, but just do whatever you like. A teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I didn't shake up. And you want to work with cold cream. You probably should have a cold bowl too, but I ain't got time for that. Bowl's also probably too big, but here we go. And to whip cream, you want to go back and forth this way faster. A lot of people whip like this, but you get more air if you go left and right. Every time I decide to hand whipped cream, I'm like, damn, I should not have. You can see it's already kind of coming together. Yeah, so we're basically there, just a little bit more. So medium peak, you'll put your whisk in, and then it'll kind of bend over like that. It won't like stay straight up. So this is actually a perfect consistency. Awesome. Now we're gonna take our pie, which has just set. It's so set. Oh, so happy. I wish I didn't fill it up as much as I did, but I did, so. All right. Now we're gonna top off this pie with the cream. Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna put the cream on. Doesn't have to be perfect. We like a little textures. I have some of that orange still showing through at the top. Oh, this is perfectly whipped. Oh, yes. Nice. So now I'm just gonna swoop it over top. And then we're going to top it off with the streusel we made yesterday. You wanna break it up a little bit. Just dunk that on top. Oh, yes. Wow, this actually looks so good. Perfect. Wow. Not gonna lie, this looks pretty fire. Oh, this looks so good. Let's go! All right, y'all. It's time to slice into this bad boy. I am extremely excited. Oh yeah, make sure you get through that bottom. First slice is always the hardest. Don't know how I'm gonna get it out. Please come out. Oh my gosh, that camera. Oh, dude. All right, y'all, this looks so freaking good. Like, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever made something that looked this good, but let me take a bite. Holy shit. Whoa. Whoa. This is insane. Yo, I don't eat pumpkin pie. I don't really like pumpkin pie that much because it's so bleh. Holy shit. Wow. Wow.
I think this is one of the best things I've ever baked. I'm not even kidding.
Wow. It's not even my recipe, but I'm so proud of myself. This is so good. Wow, even that cornbread in the crust gives it a little kind of savoriness that like, cause it's pretty sweet. It's not like super sweet, but it's sweet enough where that cornmeal really, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Amazing, cool, wow. Y'all need to try this. I'm not even kidding. You need to try this. It's so good. If you like these types of videos, please comment below, subscribe, do your boy a favor, hit the like button, notification bell, and come back with us as we try to find more delicious treats. But this is insane. I will be finishing this show. That's it for today. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.